cut governance cost by 60%, not reducing travel entourage. Peter Obi tells federal government. Exactly. Sometime yesterday morning, we saw how Tinubu announced that he has cut the size of his entourage for all official trips by 60%. That of his entourage, vice president, the first lady and the second lady, and all of them and the key people in the cabinet, where they are traveling, both local and international travels, all their trips have been cut down, sliced down by 60%. And just a lot of us are saying, well, it's a step in the right direction, but that is the least of the expectation. The expectation is to cut cost of governance by 60%. And he knows where all the leakages are. He knows all the nepotistic appointments he has made. And he knows where he has given people free hand to chop anywhere they are. All of those holes need to be plugged if Nigeria must move forward. So we need the cost of governance to be cut down. And these people, they have what it takes to do that, but just cutting the branches and leaving the stem and the root. So let's dive into the details to see exactly what Peter Obi is saying. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, said what Nigeria needs is 60% cut in the cost of governance and not reduction of entourage, travel entourage. Obi made this assertion in a statement via his verified X handle on Wednesday. Okay, his comment comes after President Bola Tinubu slashed the number of people on entourages for international and local travels by 60%. So according to Ajuri Ngelale, the presidential spokesperson, the move was part of the cost-cutting measures of the presidency. The measures will affect the office of the president, vice president, first lady, ministers, and head of agencies. But to be said, the measure is just scratching the surface because it will only lead to a negligible saving. Okay. He also said the 2024 budget needs to be revised to cut all wasteful and unnecessary items in it. Obi stated the just announced 60% cut in the size of federal official entourages on travels is one positive step towards the reduction of cost of governance and a way of halting wastages. So he said, but this measure is just scratching the surface as it is limited in scope and can only lead to a very negligible saving. We are yet to be told how much savings this will amount to. While this modest step can be somewhat commendable, what is desirable should be both 60% reduction in federal officials' overseas trips as well as 60% reduction in the size of delegation. All of that has been said. I think the key thing here is the cost of governance, as in merging some of the ministerial portfolios, reducing number of PAs and chief of staff and assistants, and all of that is another step in a better direction. Most importantly, what our current economic reality demand is 60% reduction in the total cost of governance at the federal level. This implies that the recently passed federal budget needs to be revised to cut all wasteful and unnecessary items in it. This is the level of cost cutting and savings that can meaningfully impact the present state of the economy. This level of cut in the cost of governance should lead to substantial savings. Such savings should be used to fund the productive sectors of the economy and the much needed social investment, especially in three key areas: education, healthcare, and the migration of millions of Nigerians from poverty. Most importantly, it is not enough to announce arbitrary cut in the size of federal official entourages. The nation needs to be informed of how much the measure we save and where such savings will be applied. Exactly what Peter B is saying is not different from what all other Nigerians are saying. Okay, we already said that cutting the size of official trips and entourage is a step in the right direction, but is the least of all the expectations. Okay, until an action is taken to positively impact the life of the citizens at the grassroots, no result is achieved. okay, it's not a success. So the decision that Tinubu should take is not just cutting the size of Entourage, but cutting the size of governance. At the same time, making decisions that will also alleviate the suffering that people are passing through by way of, decisions that will change the exchange rate, improve the exchange rate significantly so that the people's daily earnings can have value for them. At the same time, the fuel petrol price that has just been skyrocketed up to almost 600 or 650 naira per liter should come down to where it was and possibly lower. We are hearing that after the new year, we shall start seeing petroleum product flowing from Port Harcourt refinery. Up till now, we have not seen anything yet. So we need decisions that will positively impact the life of the people and not decisions that will just, send a signal like, you are feeling the pulse of the people. But meanwhile, the true actions are not reflecting what you are saying. So now that is exactly what Peter Obi is demanding, and that is exactly what all Nigerians are also demanding. Good enough, it's commendable that the size of the government entourages have been reduced, but the key thing here is the size of governance. Tinubu has the highest bloated cabinet ever in the history of Nigeria. And at the beginning, where he started nominating his PAs and his ministers, he said that is his own way of creating employment. Are you creating employment for people who are already overfed, leaving the people at the grassroots are struggling to get daily bread? What does that mean? What kind of employment are you creating? You are creating employment for people who already have something to eat, leaving people who are suffering. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. So, okay, thank you for listening, and let's have your comment at this point. That's what Peter B is trying to say.